Good morning, my friends. Welcome back for another Sunday morning, and this is our last one with our seeds section that we were talking about. So for those of you who helped me out this time by planting seeds with me so we could all grow something together, I'm curious if yours have started to grow or not. Mine this week, I don't know if you can see them, but right there, look, I got little baby seeds. They started to come up probably Monday or Tuesday. I noticed they came up, and it was interesting because the plant that I planted was nasturtium, which is a flower. It's actually an edible flower, which is kind of cool too. If you pick the tops of the flowers off of the nasturtiums, you can throw them in a salad and just makes it extra fancy. So you're like, woohoo, I've got a fancy salad, you guys. And yeah, anyway, that's a whole other side thing. But I was not expecting such a colorful flower to start out almost gray. I don't know if you can see that, but let's see if we can kind of get that a little bit better. Do you see? I was expecting maybe like a bright green, kind of like the color of my corn that's growing back here, to come up as the first shoots, not like this grayish purple color. And I put two in because I was thinking maybe an insurance seed. I'm not sure why I did that. Just wanted to, in case one of them was a dud. And they both came up, but one of them has a little bit of a leaf to it, and then the other one is kind of withery. So I'm curious to see what happens with these. They're a little too close together, so one of them might have to come out, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to probably plant them this week in my garden to see if they'll grow. And I'm really excited because I do love nasturtium. They're really, really pretty. Which seeds did you get? I know I got some really fun ones. So did you get sunflowers, zinnias, marigolds, bachelor's buttons? I know we had some pretty cool ones that went out. So, or maybe perhaps even some of my little nasturtium friends. I would love to hear how they grew and if you've been having fun with them, or if like they started to grow and you forgot to water them and they went bleh, because that happens. When I don't get enough water, I also go bleh. So just, you don't feel your best, right? So let's see what happens with these. But as we've been talking about seeds, just dropped my stuff. There we go. So this week's scripture that had seeds in it, the parable that we read earlier in church today, is from Matthew. They've all been from Matthew, and this one is Matthew 13:31, and it's just a short little tidbit. I'm going to reread it for you because it's a quick little mustard seed. Ooh. He put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs and becomes a tree so that the birds of the air can make nests in its branches. Okay, so a mustard seed is pretty small. I mean, if you've ever had the kind of mustard that actually still has the seeds in it that you put on your bread, it's the good deli mustard. It's the good stuff. That's what we like. Then you can see how small a mustard seed actually is. They're pretty tiny. And yet it grows huge, like beyond what you would think that something so very small could ever grow into. And, got to me thinking, like, what else grows? What else is kind of small, starts out small, and then just goes and gets bigger and bigger beyond your wildest dreams? And while I would say my, overgrown garden perhaps would be a good example of that, there's another example that I think is even better of showing something that's small that grows really, really, really big. So we're going to read a story today called What Do You Do with an Idea? It's by Kobi Yamada and illustrated by May Besom. One day, I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here, I wondered. What do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. So there's the idea. And there's our little guy walking away from it. It's not his, he says. But it followed me. See, there it's following him. I worried what others would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away and I didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit I felt better and happier when it was around. There's the idea. Look, okay, I'm pretty happy with that idea, is what our little friend there says. It wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. Idea. All that attention that it needs. Look, there's a little clock. Needs a lot of time when you got an idea. It grew bigger. And we became friends. See, he's now carrying his idea in his backpack. I showed it to other people even though I was afraid of what they would say. I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time and it would never become anything. See, there's the idea right there. All the people kind of looking at it like, oh, what is that? Ooh. And at first I believed them. I actually thought about giving up my idea. I almost listened to them. Walking away from it, ideas over here, all of this space between our little friend and their idea. But then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea. No one knows it like I do. And it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy. I decided to protect it, to care for it, and I fed it good food. I worked with it, I played with it, but most of all, I gave it my attention. See, there we go. Checking out that idea, seeing how it's doing, giving it all the attention. And my idea grew, and so did my love for it. I built it a new house, one with an open roof, where it could look up at the stars, a place where it would be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big and then to think bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands because, it said, it is good to have the ability to see things differently. I couldn't imagine my life without it. Then one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, took flight, and burst into the sky. So there's our friend, and there is that idea taking flight and going right into the sky. I don't know how to describe it, but it went from being here to being everywhere. It wasn't just part of me anymore, it was now part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world. The end. So what do you do with an idea? It's kind of like that little mustard seed, just a little tiny thing that grows into something bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes world changing. And that's also what God's love is like. And so I invite you this week to think about the little ideas, the little seeds that God has put into your brain, the things that you think could maybe one day change the world. And before you say, oh, there's no way I could ever do that, that doesn't make sense, we could never make that happen, just think about it. Think about what your idea might be, because your idea could be the idea, that could be your little mustard seed that grows and grows and grows, and the more you feed it and the more you nurture it, the more that it's ready to change the world with you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'll see you next week.